The federal website honoring the Stonewall Uprising, the Stonewall National Monument, that website has been forced to pull words such as transgender and queer after the Trump administration issued a directive scrubbing any mention of DEI from all government agencies. The 1969 Stonewall riots were in response to New York City police harassing the gay community, a community which included transgender and queer people. But the words transgender and queer have been struck from the website honoring the Stonewall Uprising, which is considered a landmark moment in the fight for civil rights. The CDC, despite Trump's DEI directive, has obeyed a court order and restored data sets and recommendations for HIV patients, for AIDS patients. Trump's CDC ruled that information for doctors on how to treat people with HIV and AIDS fell into the category of DEI and had to be scrubbed from the CDC website, but a court order said put that information back up on the CDC website. So although the CDC website restored those pages, the pages now include a strongly worded condemnation of gender ideology, insisting there are only two biological sexes. Yeah, that's going to keep people alive. The Centers for Disease Control reportedly fired 10% of its staff. But they're on top of this whole gender ideology epidemic. This, as Trump signed an executive order cutting off funding to any schools and universities with COVID vaccine mandates. Wow, I feel healthy already. The Agriculture Department's National Animal Health Laboratory Network was ordered to fire 1/4 of its staff. These are the people who test for zoonotic leaps of viruses, from animal to human. But don't worry. Trump's got this, right? Remember his first term? He's got this the same way he got COVID. Literally got COVID. We are in the middle of an avian bird flu outbreak, making a carton of eggs so expensive only Elon Musk can afford them. One would think, considering how many people died from Donald Trump's response to COVID, a little humility. Maybe you don't gut the CDC or the people testing for zoonotic leaps of viruses. 100 million birds have died from this latest bird flu outbreak, and it's spreading to dairy cows. In fact, I read a majority of dairy cows in California have it. Glad the adults are in charge. No, these are not adults. These are white men who are in charge. This was the same thing they said after 9/11. The adults are in charge. No, the white men are in charge. And they screw things up. White men screw things up. Like Dr. Ralph L. Abraham, Louisiana Surgeon General, announcing Louisiana will no longer be encouraging parents to vaccinate their children. Louisiana is currently having one of the worst flu outbreaks in the country. You don't need to vaccinate. It's all about choice. Like when you get behind the wheel of a car and share our nation's highways with other citizens, you should have the choice of driving drunk or driving sober. You should have the choice of obeying the speed limit. There should be no speed limit. Why should the government tell me I can't drive 160 miles per hour or which side of the road I want to travel on? Sometimes when I come home from the pub after a pint, some bangers and mash, I feel awfully British and want to drive on the left side of the road. I should have that choice. That outbreak of measles in Gaines County, Texas, that you've been reading about, it has now doubled to 48, with 13 hospitalized. This is the worst outbreak of measles in Gaines County in more than 4 decades. 18% of Gaines County, Texas children unvaccinated for measles. It's one of the highest rates of unvaccinated children in the state. And yet they're having the worst measles outbreak in 4 decades. I wonder if there's any correlation. Well, golly, I need to do my own research. Quick, what does Joe Rogan have to say about this? That's how I do my own research. The measles vaccine, they say, was introduced in 1963, and it immediately saved 2.6 million lives around the world. That's what they say, but that's not what Bobby Kennedy says. And he's a lawyer. Considering the world population has more than doubled since 1963, the measles vaccine saves close to 10 million lives each year. Well, that's what all the experts say. That's what all the people who have credentials, degrees, who've studied this, that's what they say. But do we know this for sure? Has it been run past louder with Crowder? Nationwide, a record number of 125,000 school children were exempt from at least one vaccine mandate last year. That's according to the CDC. Why would we have a record number of school children not getting vaccinated last year? Because more and more Americans get their news these days from comedians with podcasts. Some of these people don't know they're comedians. They just have podcasts, but trust me, they're comedians. Don't get your news from your friends, and don't get them from uncertified podcasts. Newly confirmed head of the Department of Health and Human Services, Bobby Kennedy, told Fox News Trump has ordered him to study the safety of abortion pills. Here, let me save you some time, Bobby. Every reliable study during the past decade says they're safe, but we haven't checked with Jimmy Dore. The governor of New York is ignoring Louisiana's extradition request to prosecute a New York doctor who prescribed abortion pills to a pregnant Louisiana teenager. New York Governor Kathy Hochul on Thursday rejected Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry's request to extradite this doctor, saying, this is what my governor said, she would not sign the order. Not now, not ever. The state of Texas, speaking of stupid hicks, just fined the same New York doctor $100,000 for prescribing the abortion pill to a Dallas woman. The Associated Press reporting 8 states passed shield laws refusing to extradite doctors who have been indicted for prescribing abortion pills to women in states where abortion is illegal. Okay, 2 new studies. Pay attention to this, please. 2 new studies published by the Journal of American Medicine reveal the devastating effects on women and babies since the Supreme Court overturned Roe in 2022. This is just fresh off the Journal of American Medicine. Since 2022, 16 states have passed near total abortion bans. Thank you, Donald Trump. According to the new studies in the Journal of American Medicine, Texas's infant mortality rate has jumped nearly 10% since their abortion bans kicked in. There's been a 9% jump in infant mortality in Kentucky. And according to the Journal of American Medicine, every state, every single one of those 16 states that passed near total abortion bans, infant mortality has gone up. Yes, save the children. They love the children. Despite Roe getting overturned, the New York Times reporting that the number of abortions in the states that banned it has gone up nationwide. There's been a 12% increase in abortions last year. Everything they do fails. It helps nobody. It's just cruel. They didn't even bring down the number of abortions. They brought up the number of abortions has gone up, as has infant mortality. So if abortions are going up, who's not getting them? Poor women. Or teenagers still living with their parents forced to carry their stepdad's child to term. Studies show the hardest hit are poor women and teenagers forced to carry the fetus to full term because they can't leave. They can't leave the house, they can't travel, and they can't get access to abortion pills from states like New York. New reporting that Elon Musk fathered his 13th child 5 months ago. Ashley St. Clair, the far-right 26-year-old MAGA commentator, saying she's the mom. Elon Musk has fathered 13 children with 4 separate women, many of them out of wedlock. And I won't discuss the kid he brought into the Oval Office. I've put Lindsey Graham's face over it, that kid. But that mother, that was done to hurt the mother. I don't want to get into it. I feel terrible for that kid being used that way.